If you've been following Robot Combat in this so far BattleBots absent year, there's a good chance that the European heavyweight scene has been your main fix over the last few months with events such as Battle of Robots and especially Extreme Robots, which during our last two videos we've seen the likes of Tectonic, Oblivion, Iron 6, and Eruption all grace the Extreme Robot stage. But now they enter a new arena, literally, with Robots Live's new championship tour, MechMania, airing on Mech Plus. Instead of team combat, we got all fight card one-on-ones, classic combat coming our way from MechMania. But who are the robots to watch out for? Join the Combot Collective today as we take a look at a unique group of 7 robots from the field of 30 that you should watch out for at MechMania's inaugural season. From BattleBots applicants to promising newcomers to UK regulars to even OGs and legends returning to the sport here, from Sharks to Storms. A lot of exciting stuff to discuss right here on the Combot Collective. Let's talk about the MechMania field.
Welcome to the Combot Collective.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Combot Collective, bringing everything you want to know from the world of robot combat, from the heavyweight class to the flyweight class, and currently fresh off the heels from a great vacation in Missouri, but more importantly to y'all, some big Extreme Robots events in the UK. Over the first few Extreme Robot stops, we've seen certain robots rise to the top, all on the quest to potentially become the TCC #1 ranked heavyweight for 2024, a feat maybe more attainable than ever with the seeming lack of BattleBots taking place at all this year, at least until fall. And it turns out more than a few robots from that Extreme Robots roster will be trying their luck twice over as they really kick off their respective UK Live Tour campaigns with the beginning of MechMania. MechMania, for those who have been living under a robotic rock, is a show that comes straight from Mech Plus, a growing streaming service and TV channel which shows numerous episodes from competitive robot events of the past. This event, though, will be the first ever Mech Plus original, a heavyweight championship to call their own, bringing modern robot combat to the Mech Plus archives. This exciting event tour, presented by Robots Live, features 30 robots from all over the UK, with every robot reportedly having one main championship fight during each MechMania tour stop, 3 in total, followed by a 4th and final event in Lando, I'm sure I botched that name, where a championship tournament to crown the first ever MechMania champion will take place. But honestly, that's all we know about the format of this brand new championship series. A lot is still very much up in the air, despite the fact one of the 3 MechMania stops has already taken place as of a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully we will get info on a release date for the episode soon. Could be fall, could be winter, could be as late as next year. Only thing we know right now is that the series will be exclusive to the paid subscribers of Mech Plus. This means to everyone, myself included, that has reaped the benefits of Mech Plus's awesome content through a free account this entire time. It's time to pay the team behind this event for their efforts. Subscribe, 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 everyone. It's the best thing we can do for the UK scene. But one thing we do know very well about this series is the field of competitors, with the full field of 30 heavyweights confirmed over the first half of the summer, and even more featherweights from multi-time champions to promising newcomers also revealed. Today, though, we're going to be focusing on those heavyweight class robots, specifically putting a spotlight on 7 machines from all levels of the world of robot combat. We're taking a look at robots new and old, teams which have never fought in the heavyweight class before, to Robot Wars originals, even a couple of Robot Wars grand finalists here. We'll kick things off, though, by taking a look at a brand new robot as we dive into our MechMania 2024 competitor preview. 7 robots up, let's get at it. And yes, kicking it off, a brand new robot here, but interestingly enough, one from a very familiar team. Whether it was BattleBots, Robot Wars, RoboGames, or even ClashBots, the 25-year-old squad of Team Danby has been an eternal underdog and cornerstone of this great sport. The team has most notably been recently active at BattleBots Proving Grounds, with the recent version of Slammo being a regular to the event. But this isn't about the newfound Texan Craig Danby. Instead, this is about his brother Chris, who heads the UK portion of Team Danby. Last we heard of Chris Danby, he was bringing the wild new version of Apex over to the United States for Proving Grounds, becoming the first UK squad to enter Proving Grounds, but doing so with no success, going 0 for 2. And since this rough start, Chris Danby has been quiet for all of 2024 thus far. No appearances in Extreme Robots, likely because it appears that the team has been busy building yet another new heavyweight robot for their ranks, the four-wheel drive Axebot Horus. Horus, the first Axebot the team has made since Big Panda Hammer, comes during quite the time for overhead weapons in the UK. Fans are still buzzing from Beta's World Championship 7 performance. Robots like Axel and Afterchop are ditching much more traditional weapons for axes, and we even have machines like Thor and Implosion who have become genuine championship threats in Europe. This all has built up to Team Danby trying the concept out once again with another four-wheel drive Axebot design. And that's kind of the issue, though. That is really all we have to go on here, is this sole piece of concept art which depicts a wide but box-shaped four-wheel drive red Axebot that looks to have some slots available for wedgelets. Now, I have a theory on this robot. Obviously, this CAD and picture sent in by the team is not finished at all, hence the lack of wedgelets up front. But we do know that the Danbys know their robot combat history, and with the name Horus and the way the axe and wheels are positioned, I cannot help but think that the final product of this robot will be pyramid shaped, not this boring box shape, and it in fact will be a tribute to the lovable Robot Wars USA competitor Tut Tut, a persevering Axebot from the early 2000s, best known for going undefeated over its entire career. This isn't confirmed, of course, just a theory from the Combot Collective, but we do know Team Danby is fielding an Axebot or maybe a Hammerbot for this event, and we hope for the best. We love our Axebots. And speaking of Axebots, we now go from one Axebot we know little to nothing about to one of the most intriguing stories amongst the overhead weapons in our sport, a robot which has acquired quite a bit of buzz over the past few years, which is quite interesting because this robot had not even existed until recently. Boltergeist may be a familiar name to those who have watched the Combot Collective for a couple of years. When we did our applicant rundowns in one of the earlier episodes, we discussed this robot during their second or third year of application, a year which saw team captains, not going to botch the names this time, Aiden James and Natasha Herbacek, go through multiple tumultions behind the scenes on their road to World Championship 7 application with Boltergeist 2022, a bulky wedge Axebot which had recently added wedgelets to its newest design. This idea, though, for a second time was denied by BattleBot's producers, leading to the team to focus on other weight classes. But now, thanks to MechMania, this amazing story and promising team is finally getting a shot with a potentially game-changing design. We've seen Boltergeist 2021, 2022, we've even seen Boltergeist 2020 almost get into BattleBots, but Boltergeist 2024 is the biggest evolution we've seen this robot take in its 5-year career of sorts, and most definitely boasts a design that shows Team Geist have been paying close attention to the changes among robot combat's meta over the last year. See, Boltergeist 2024 ditches the four-wheel drive body for a wider two-wheel drive shape, giving the robot a more exposed hammer, but in turn tying this entire robot together with a pair of everyone's brand new favorite control system, cam lifters. 2 long cam lifters, in fact, much like we've seen on all sorts of badass robots from Las Vegas Combat Robotics. LVCR has dominated using 30-pounders and 3-pounders featuring cam lifters to the point that other teams like Team ROC from Battle of Robots have imitated it for their own design. This will be the first time that it is going to be fully implemented on a solid 250-pound heavyweight, and sometimes these design styles don't translate as the robots get bigger, but sometimes they do, and if Boltergeist blows up from this event or even just shows conceptual promise, this could be a big move not for only heavyweight control bots, but axe and hammer bots especially, and especially big time for Boltergeist, who may be able to transfer this momentum into a spot on BattleBots. We have to see. But now this preview video features a couple of old teams, a couple of new robots. Well, here's an old team, a very old team, coming out of retirement with their first new heavyweight since 2003. Does anyone remember Team Lightning? The squad that brought us not only some of the best rocket cars to ever compete at RoboGames, but also appeared in Robot Wars Series 7, making the Heat Finals with the incredibly unique Lightning, one of the first and only ever side flippers. A unique robot that was able to defeat machines such as Stinger, Thor, Iron-Awe, and the Alien, amongst others, over its short but notable career. But after Lightning called it a career, the team went more or less stagnant for the better part of 2 decades. But now that hiatus has come to the end with the sudden news of Mako. 2 months ago, this team would rise from the ashes on their YouTube page as the husband and wife team would introduce the world to Mako, a robot which may look quite familiar to some veterans of the UK scene, and that's because this robot just last year competed as Iron-Awe 8 for Team Iron-Awe and Team Wolfpack at Extreme Robots. Iron-Awe 8 has always been a solid member of the Iron-Awe family, being one of the best Wolfpack robots and a Robots Live event winner in 2023, but it would appear the robot has been sold off to Team Lightning, now armed with a fin-shaped bot stopper on top of the flipper to fit the brand new shark theme it features. The robot aesthetically has had an absolute facelift, to the point I didn't even recognize this robot as Iron-Awe 8 for a few days before it was brought up to me on the BattleBots fan wiki. It certainly looks the part, and we know it can win events, given what we've seen both versions of Team Iron-Awe do with it at Robots Live and Extreme Robots. But how will it do with yet another new driver, especially one that hasn't fought in years? It's going to be a tough field for competition, a field which also features Iron-Awe 5 and Iron-Awe 6. Maybe sibling warfare is on deck, not sure, but I am excited for Team Lightning and Mako. But now we move to a few robots that we have actually recently discussed on our video that we had last July. Please watch it, it has like no views, on Extreme Robots Guildford. We go from the prime to the old to the new, where we start with one robot I'm excited to see really grow down the line, Oblivion. This robot gives me some insane vibes of old Robot Wars Series 2 and 3 machines such as Dreadnought. But this is a robot which comes from a newer Robot Wars team and a similar story to Team Lightning with Collingwood Carnage, a team which made it all the way to the grand finals of Robot Wars Series 10 with the use of their first ever robot, Traction, a suicidal tendencies-esque robot which defeated the likes of Apex on its run to the end of Robot Wars Series 10. This unique 2-wheel drive flipper and axe combo may also look familiar because of its connection to SA2, aka Steel Avenger 2, the planned sequel to, well, Steel Avenger, which ended up never happening. A decade after the team retired in 2014, the body was sold to Team Shock, who was going to use it as a base for the original design for Shockwave. This plan never came to fruition, but earlier this year, Team Shock gave Collingwood Carnage, who they mentor, this chassis for a brand new heavyweight build, their first in 7 years, and after a few months, the body of what was once supposed to be SA2 and Shockwave had finally been given a name, Oblivion, who, like I mentioned, already has made a debut, first appearing at Extreme Robots Guildford back in June. Here, the 7 years dormant team went 0-3 and really did not get much experience during these battles, with only one going to the judges, and only one appearing on ExtremeRobots.tv, a battle which ended in seconds for Oblivion when Beast sent it out of the arena. Plenty for this old yet young team to learn from with this promising robot, and I'm eager to see more from it. It's going to be fascinating between Team Lightning and Collingwood Carnage, which dormant team bounces back better. And you know, talking about old teams, now we got a few classic robots making an appearance at this event to discuss. Talking about robots like Iron-Awe, the GOAT Behemoth, and another robot which I'm saving for the very end of this video. But first, let's go over another robot which appeared recently at Extreme Robots Guildford. A robot as old as Behemoth, also winning a heat at Robot Wars Series 2, celebrating its 26th year in robot combat, the mighty King Buxton. And if you watch the Combot Collective, you know this robot is a fan favorite here, and going over its history again would probably be pretty redundant by now. It's a robot that has faced them all, from Roadblock to TR2 to 101 to Eruption to Dominator 2 to even Toro Maximus, the older sibling of Minotaur. This fearless 4-wheel drive lifter has faced them all and has defeated quite a few of them in the process. The former Robot Wars Tag Team Champion has kept up with the test of time as well, as we saw recently in Extreme Robots Guildford, having managed full lifting control on a couple of robots such as Eruption and Axel over that event. But now King Buxton enters its biggest event since Robot Wars Series 8. Cy Harrison seems as confident as ever to bring the King Kitty into as many events as possible this year with aspirations for success, and it really has a chance to deliver here and rake in the points given the fact that it has such an experience of competing against so many of these robots, from the underdogs like Thunderchild to the undeniable favorite of this event, Eruption. This makes it an underlying favorite of mine to find the right run at the right show to get it to the pinnacle of MechMania. You know, maybe a little bias there, but compared to some of these veterans, including the one I'm covering last here, I'd say that this robot has the highest likeliness to take the title. Now, next up, we don't necessarily have a contender, and we probably don't have a classic of the sport definition-wise yet, but we do have a Robot Wars Reboot All-Star and a fan favorite of the UK live scene. Another robot which made its 2024 debut in Guildford last June, the presidential prune, Donald Thump. And obviously, if you haven't kept up with the sport in the UK since Series 10, you may not be aware that this robot has received quite a few upgrades since its notorious Heat A appearance where it lost to the Swarm in 2017. A new body, new stronger weapon, and a lot of upgrades in preparation for its 2020 BattleBots appearance, which sadly didn't come to fruition. Now, does this necessarily mean Donald Thump has gotten better? That sadly can be debated still. It can hit when it works, as we recently saw in its Guildford battles with Zykiel, and we know it's not afraid to turn down any chance to compete, even if it means fighting as a push bot at sportman events like Robo Riots in Dublin. But that does pose a question here, a question which honestly sets up the whole reason why I put this robot on this list. Will the weapon work? Out of the 30 robots featured in the MechMania field, only one has a full combat weapon, and that's Donald Thump. Now, like I said, Donald Thump has fought before as a slow two-wheel drive weaponless bot in the past at sportsman events, but does Mech Plus really want that for MechMania? A show which, unlike Extreme Robots, people are going to have to pay money for? I could definitely see MechMania wanting a resident spinner in the field for weapon variety, and maybe a little bit of extra spark flying for the cameras, but would the Robots Live Arena be able to handle that? My two theories are that Donald Thump will be either A, running a tip speed even lower than that of Extreme Robots, or B, Donald Thump will be debuting a new weapon to go where this spinner is for sportsman events. Most ideally a lifter? Maybe it'll go the axe like a bunch of other robots have this year? I mean, either option is ideal. Really hope it doesn't go completely weaponless. Doesn't seem like it would make for good TV. But Donald Thump always makes for good TV. Team Ballistics always makes for good TV. And I do look forward to that. But finally, lucky number 7, we have the robot which was intentionally revealed last by MechMania to be partaking in this event. A robot which built up a little speculation from fans as to who robot number 30 would be, with people making guesses such as Beta, Thor, Dietor, and even Tornado. But thanks to a leak earlier in the revealing process, many people would guess right, as on the final reveal day, it was announced that the one and only Storm 2, Robot Wars Series 7 runner-up and World Championship 3 winner, will be making its first competitive appearance since Robot Wars Series 8. Going from a field which featured the likes of Apollo, PP3D, and Eruption, to one which has robots such as Behemoth, Manta, and, well, Eruption. Ed Hoppet has been a little bit of a polarizing figure in the sport of robot combat from the die-hard fans of the game, especially for those outside the UK Roboteer bubble. People seem to love him or hate him. I kind of stand on the edge of that bubble personally. As a kid, I absolutely loved Storm 2, and like many believe and still believe, it got royally fucked out of the Robot Wars Series 7 crown. But the robot had absolutely lost its luster more and more going past Series 7. The team ran the 4-bar lifter less and less over the years, eventually regressing to a front hinge lifter and sometimes just going on as a full-on rammer like it did in New Blood. But it's been almost a decade since Storm 2 last competed. Its speed is simply not going to carry it in this day and age of the sport, competing as a straight-up ram bot, especially when A, robots like Hypershock and Claw Viper exist, and B, arenas feature less and less open out of the arena zones with how powerful flippers have gotten. We aren't going to see any Steel Avenger style out of the arena rams from this robot. So what are the upgrades? Only time will tell. Certainly not going to be that spinner. But I really do want to see this robot take some steps forward to be a contender and not just a nostalgic name. Maybe Storm 2 has been cooking something up over the last 8 years. Team Storm, I should say. What do you got, Ed Hoppet? We want to see. But there you go, guys. As we say, 7 robots up, 7 robots down to talk about here on our MechMania preview. A lot of exciting events scheduled for Robots Live, one of which has already happened in July. We don't know much about it, like I said. Apparently, all the robots had a one-on-one match against one another. I don't know if that's all they did over the last 2 days. There was apparently a 10-robot rumble, which I've seen some clips of. That looks exciting. There's obviously going to be some cameo appearances by Apollo, by Vulcan, by Monty, probably even by Tanshe, given that they are owned by by Robots Live, but they can't compete, obviously, since they are under the Robots Live umbrella. There's a lot of interesting things to factor in with this event. Super excited, though. Obviously, classic robots such as Storm 2, Behemoth, King Buxton, New Blood, such as Oblivion, such as Horus, like I talked about, such as Audacious, a middleweight making its heavyweight debut, and of course, the live event names, the ones from Extreme Robots we always talk about. Double dipping, getting some extra action. Tectonic, Eruption, Manta, Ironoff 6, who's going to be rebranded for this series as 6. Interested how that's working. A lot of interesting stuff, a lot of exciting stuff. We really don't know how the arena is going to be set up. Is there going to be a pit? How the arena zone is going to work? We have the Donald Thump situation that we're intrigued in. Teresa Mayhem is joining Donald Thump. I really don't know why they gave that robot a spot, but they did. It's going to be exciting. 30 robots. Featherweights are going to be getting some TV time. And that brings us to what you can expect more at the Combot Collective. We got a live stream for NHRL in September. We got another Extreme Robots video coming up after this one for the July Extreme Robots event, which had 2 new spinners debut at. Talking about featherweights, Labman Fight Fest is going to be on Extreme Robots TV. We're going to be covering that again. All that great stuff. Battle Boss just announced the fall face-offs. Of course, we're going to be talking about that. A lot of exciting stuff for the Extreme Robot Collective. The Combot Collective. I'm so tired. I'm botching my own name here. But thank you guys so much for watching what hopefully will be a shorter TCC video compared to our last couple. Not really an event rundown, more of a news video, a preview, getting back into that sort of groove. Thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment giving us your thoughts on MechMania, your prediction on who's going to win MechMania, and constructive criticism for the channel. We always appreciate it. Of course, also check out the Discord channel. Videos get uploaded there first. Plenty of builders, plenty of fans. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page where Robot Combat News gets posted, where video uploads get posted. Every now and then I hop on the story, post something on there. It's a lot of fun. Be sure to check it all out on the Combot Collective. But we're going to wrap it up right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see y'all next time for more news, more rundowns, the usual here at TCC.
This was the Combot Collective. Find us on Instagram and Discord.